it is one of those that, they clearly didn't have enough rope. But right, Dave says we're live. Should we do the old check? I noticed you did check last week, Dave, as well.
Mate, I always check. It was a bit of a disaster start, I'll be honest with you. So all the headphones, we figured out why it went wrong, but
mate, you worked it out. It was good. Right, let's just check.
Yeah, we're live, and we're live.
Yeah, looks good. Awesome. Right, let's get into it. Right, hey guys, Andy here and Dave, another Tuesday tune in. You had the privilege of having Dave and only Dave last week. So I did manage to catch little bits.
I don't know if that's quite a privilege, and or a burden.
Nah, mate, you did a really good job. But I hope everyone is having an awesome week. Beautiful weather here in the UK at the moment, especially in South Wales. So we're trying to make the most of it. I mean, some of us, we go to certain lengths to make the most of the weather. Some of us crash our mountain bikes, don't we, Dave?
Yes. Yes, we do. Like an idiot. And it's
how you feeling?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I've head's okay, neck's okay, spine's okay. So they're the three main bits. If they're okay, the rest of you's okay, as far as I'm concerned. Even if that's not strictly true, because my knee is knackered. like as I look down now, there's a giant air balloon where my kneecap used to be. So that's. But you know what? Like happy. Got good spirits. Happy to be still doing the live. From my parents' living room.
It's slightly different today, mate. Yeah, not from the office, not from home, in the parents now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I tried to go to my flat, but to get up to my flat, I've got to go up like 2 sets of stairs, and I just didn't have it in me, mate. I just didn't have it in me. So all the creature comforts at home for a week, I think, before I'll go back.
Well, I know we always talk about people's Everest being different. So your Everest is literally the stairs at the moment.
My Everest is literally the stairs at the moment. Yeah, I mean my knee is the size of Everest at the minute, but So my Everest is
good to see loads of people joining as always. Got some great numbers. Hey James, Heather, Brian, Mark, Jim, Shona. EverTrek's on here. Great stuff. Sital, Steve, Amanda, Shona, Scott, Mark, Mick, Haley, Lee. Lovely message from you, Lee. I did say you sent to Dave. And Dave, I don't want to steal your thunder with this, but you had some lovely messages.
It was amazing. It's weird. Totally, completely didn't expect. I mean, it's just I don't know, overwhelming. It made the difference. I tell you that it made the difference. It's strange. Like, I say into it, like people around, like I've been injured before. I've been injured loads, man. You ride bikes and you go to the mountains, you're going to hurt yourself. And it's never really affected like my mental state before, I've just been, okay, so now I have a bad leg. Okay, now I've hit my head, it's fine.
Yeah.
But this one, really, really knocked me for six, to be honest with you. And like Saturday night when I finally got back from the hospital, I was like lying in bed and I was like really, really low. And then, I don't know, I just checked my phone and already it was just flowing in. Sunday morning I checked, and so honestly, each and every single one of you that's ever sent me a message, I think I owe about 400 beers now. So my beer tab has gone up, but honestly, it really, really, really made the difference. It honestly, it changed my mental state from poor me to right, let's have it. And it was like amazing.
No, Dave, obviously a very difficult situation, but I know we're speaking to you probably early Sunday morning to kind of the last couple of days. I mean, I know it must be hard. I know there's a lot of people on here who've been through similar challenges. When I sent the email out Monday morning, we had so many people sharing their kind of experiences of going through maybe similar things with the legs, with injuries, coming back. And, we always like to, sometimes the topics that we create for these tune-ins, sometimes we plan ahead. Sometimes they're just, right, we're going to talk about this today. And sometimes they fall into our lap, Dave, or fall off your bike.
Yes.
They did. But we were talking about injuries a lot, really, the last few weeks in terms of doing a live about it. And we thought, right, let's do it today. Because it is part and parcel of adventure travel, of doing stuff, of being active. You're going to get injuries, these kind of things. And we always do get questions around, what's the aftermath of that? How do you recover? What training would you kind of do? do people kind of get something and pick a target and aim for that? And we thought, it's a good shout, Dave, and you come up with some really good questions, because I suppose that now you asked yourself, right?
Yeah.
You know?
So I mean, I've talked loads. We've talked on here about sort of rehab, and I've had loads of emails from customers that have had sort of knee injuries and back
Yeah.
injuries and stuff like that. And I've always talked about it, anecdotally, really. Like I've learned information from others, but this is probably the first injury that I've had. I mean, I've knocked myself out on the bike. I've ended up with stitches. I've pulled something in my back before, but you kind of just get along. But this one, so just to sort of recap, I was riding my mountain bike on Saturday in Wales and doing some downhill trails and having a fun day with my mate John, the Great Bald Yeti. And it was just a freak accident. It was just got onto a loose bit of the trail, lost the front end, went over the bars, and as I went over the bars, my foot got caught in the bike frame.
Yeah.
So all of my weight, all of my momentum then, pulled the knee apart. And you hear, it's strange, you hear the ligament sort of, I don't know whether it tore or snapped, MRI will tell me that. But yeah, when I hit the ground, I thought my leg was broke, was the first thing that I thought, because I'd never felt that before. So I thought, right, I broke my leg. I'm in the middle of nowhere on a mountain in Wales, surrounded by trees. There's no way for a helicopter to get me. There's just nothing, and
Chopper Club, Dave, what's that about?
I know, yeah, mate. The first thing I thought I'd do is I'm going to ring a noosh and get a chopper, and then I was like, no. So yeah, I broke my leg, and it was ironic. Like after the panic had passed, and I was literally just lying there thinking, this is one fine mess I've got myself into now. How am I going to get myself out? And then, honestly, I felt my leg and I thought, well, it doesn't feel broke, doesn't feel like it's damaged. Maybe I'm just being a bit of a wuss, So I literally crawl over, find a tree, pull myself up by a tree, put some weight on the leg, and it just folded underneath me like a bit of wet spaghetti. It was just, there's nothing supporting the knee. So then I was like, okay, now I'm in real trouble. I mean, those were my exact words. But I was like, right, and then John came back to help me. But unfortunately, you're on such a narrow, steep trail that there's no real way to receive the help. So I just thought, well, I'm overthinking this. I'm just going to scoot down on my ass. So I just sat down with my two hands and just like literally pulled myself down the track, sort of like a really, really budget, into the void.
I hope you still had your GoPro recorded, mate.
Do you know what? I turned my GoPro off after I landed. So, I in retrospect, I wish I'd kept it rolling. But
I'm edited to into the void, Newport style.
Yeah, exactly. But at the time, I really, really didn't. I wasn't in the mood, to capture all of this. I don't know why. I wish I did, but at the time, I'll be honest, it was a bit of fear as well. Like I was a bit terrified, and I was thinking, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get down. Like, what am I going to do? Spend like it's going to take me 2 days. But luckily, like the mountain bike community and which in my mind, they're part of the mountain community. It's got the word mountain in it. Bikers, climbers, trekkers, hikers, we're all part of the same community, and they're all really happy to help. So when the guys came along and helped me, it was we figured out a method and got me down. So that was
Well, mate, we got you back. We got you back on the live. I was thinking, will he make the live? Will he? We'd take it in turns. But mate, well done for joining us. I know obviously you got some painkillers and you managed to join us, mate.
Yeah, they don't go far from us. they don't.
Those tranquilizers.
They were in harm's reach. Yeah, like honestly, like give me an epidural. But honestly, it was it was one of those. I remember like I texted you and you called me literally when I was in the hospital, and I was like really down. And I remember saying to you, I'm just so gutted about this. And then your words were, I think they were even like, Dave, I don't know if you want to hear it, but stay positive. It will make a difference. And I actually did need to hear it. And, because the world is over when you do something like this. You can't walk. All the trips that I planned, we were Aconcagua. It's all, in my mind, it was all gone. But actually, it was strange. Like just really, really honestly, the EverTrekkers pulled me out of that funk, that's the Yetis, you guys, everybody, like just everyone. It was like it's strange when I think it's the difference between trying to run a marathon on your own and try to run a marathon when the streets are full of everyone supporting you.
Nice.
Both is equally as hard, but one of them gives you a real boost and changes your mood and your mindset. And yeah, I feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've also noticed that EverTrek have noticed that, yes, this is my slacks. Okay, I'm in my pajamas pretty much. Getting downstairs takes me 20 minutes. So
at least it's not a nurse outfit, which I know Bri was very happy to.
Brian's a legend. Yeah,
Photoshop my head onto a nurse outfit. Yeah, you could have asked. I would have provided you with a picture, Bri, to use maybe next time. But yeah, Nurse Andy has tried to take care of Dave. I mean, I got your laptop to you, Dave.
You did get my laptop to me, mate. Yeah, thank you very much. You got my laptop to me.
You just need one of those bells now. That's what I'm sure your parents will be happy with that.
Or walkie-talkies.
Walkie-talkies.
I think they were. Yeah, my parents were really super enthusiastic about me moving back in. It must be said.
No, but Dave, obviously there's, when we always think about Tuesday tune-ins and trying to find some value for everyone. There's a lot of learns, I think, that we can all take from these kind of things. And, when bad things do happen, how you bounce back to kind of get on the road you were already on, or even maybe a different road to the same challenge or different route to it. And that's what we wanted to kind of talk about, because, I didn't realize that there's a lot of EverTrekkers, more than I probably thought, who have had injuries. Some of you guys, some of the stories, I think one was from Tracy, who had the pleasure of coming on training weekend with us back about 3 years ago now. Yeah. And I didn't realize at the time that she had got run over by a motorbike, and then she couldn't really kind of walk, and it was she was doing a marathon. Sorry, I'm trying to remember the story now, but I think it was she couldn't run, but she could walk. So she wanted to prove that she could do that by getting to Everest Base Camp. So she booked and went to Everest Base Camp and proved that she could do that, which I found massively inspiring. And I love stories like that. People have got hit by a motorbike, and yet they want to get something in to work towards that'll almost drag them along, that'll motivate them to kind of get up and, okay, right, I'm not going to mope around and complain about this. I'm actually going to do something, and I'm going to work my butt off to get to where I want to be. And I really like that. From up here, I know you can't necessarily just repair the body through your mind, but I tell you what, just by thinking maybe a little bit more positively and having these things in place, and having that outlook of, okay, I'm going to look forward to that, I'm going to work towards that, it can make all the difference. And Dave, and I know you're naturally that way anyway, and there's no doubt, mate, you'll be on the mountains in no time.
Yeah, well, I thought I was. It actually took me by surprise. Saturday, how down about it I was. And how low and sort of, just really downhearted about it, and the world was over. Saturday, I was genuinely really upset about it on Saturday. But now it's Tuesday. A few days forward, and I feel completely different. And part of that is that I did have my mindset changed by, people like yourself, people like all the EverTrekkers that have messaged me. I had a message last night from Victoria. Really nice, just out the blue. I've never met her before. And she was telling me a story about she was injured and was told that she'd never be able to train again. She was a martial artist.
Okay.
And, was told that, her black belt would be something she was never going to achieve, but actually she persevered and kept it in her mind and didn't take no for an answer. And now I think she's like 3 or 4th Dan or something like that, so awesome. And there's little stories like that just keep me going. And I remember the first thing that I think you said to me was, me and Andy had previously discussed about the possibility of doing Toupcal at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I remember Andy going, right then, Dave, Toupcal by November. And I was like, yeah, all right. Yeah, all right.
I have to give you a goal. I have to give you a target.
Yeah. And honestly, it's all I'm thinking about. It's all I'm thinking about. I'm obsessed with the idea, of Toupcal, Penavan, of riding my bike again, and it's like, not to be too dramatic. I know I'm going to repair, but right now I can't do any of those things. I can't even walk. Yeah. I'm not the bionic man over here with my male crutches, but that's my plan. Is I'm going to have a goal, something to work towards, a reason to kind of push forward through the pain of rehabilitation and stuff like that. And it's also great to hear from people that have been through this type of thing as well, because for once I'm not necessarily the one giving all the information, I'm receiving it, but what I really do hope is that maybe, if someone's actually injured now and hears that, there's someone else going through it like right now, or if someone listens back on this and their knee is destroyed and they feel like Kilimanjaro or Everest Base Camp is off the cards, that it absolutely isn't, and I'm not going to accept no for an answer.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, Dave, I mean, we've had, I know Lauren's sort of managing the comments and on the phones, as we like to say. She's got a couple of, not necessarily questions, but kind of statements. Tara, no questions, but just wanted to wish you, Dave, and hope for speedy recovery. Sending out good vibes. I think it was a guy called Brett. I think it's a guy called, anyone called Brett. I don't want to say because I'll probably get it wrong. Hey, Dave, had a quad tendon repair surgery January 2020. Rehab was tough. I was running again in July. Wishing you a speedy recovery. Yes, Brett. Jim Blues. I know he was asking, how's the leg? Haley, I hope you're doing well, Dave. Ramona, of course, how are you, Dave? Rebecca Papillon. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. I would pronounce it wrong, but Rebecca, I'm going to go with that. How are you getting on, Dave? Another good question. Brian makes a very good point, actually, and there's probably something in this, and that is the plot thickens. The Bold Yeti was with you. John is after your job. Yeah,
he actually went ahead of me as well. I didn't see the banana peel. But I'm not. There's a possibility that he put it there. To be fair, like if anyone goes over to my Instagram page, I'm not begging for followers. You don't have to follow me. But there's a little video of the accident, and that sketch where you have like this. It's like a ground squirrel or something going like Alan. When I crashed my bike and hit the ground, like the first thing I did was go like John, because I thought. He was the only person around that could help me. So yeah, to be fair to John, if he's if he's after my job, he could have just asked. Maybe we could have employed him to do something. There's no need to take out a Yeti to become a Yeti.
He's already a Yeti. He's the great bald Yeti.
He's already a great bald Yeti. Yeah, exactly. And but honestly, I had loads of really funny comments. Like Bry is, some of the stuff he was putting was cracking me up. Mark B. Croft as well. He was loving the banter. So to be honest, I had some lovely super caring messages, and then I had some less caring messages that are equally as important. Like they do crack me up, to be fair. So yeah, keep them coming.
Well, you're talking about Alan. Alan Smith. Hey, Alan. Nice to see you on here. Namaste, Team EverTrek. You're doing a couple of mountains, which I can't pronounce. Tomorrow, 21st, 7 a.m. Victoria Bridge car park. Anyone interested? Drop Alan a message. Always
I'll
good
give it a miss if it's all right, Al.
Yeah, Dave, you're not allowed.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyone else? Because one thing I've seen over the last couple of weeks, which has been fantastic, by the way, is lots of EverTrekkers getting together, and because now restrictions are lifted, and they're getting out there and doing some training, doing some hiking, and I love that. Obviously, I know when we start doing the training weekends in August, which is the first one we're doing. Obviously, I can't wait to see the guys that booked in. I know we got quite a lot of people on the September one already now, but outside of that, it's great to see the community getting together and going out. And apparently, according to the one from last week, I heard it was pretty much a Tuesday tune-in on a trek. So by all the questions and kit and all those things were discussed, and that's
mate.
That's great.
You leave me on my own on a Tuesday tune-in, mate. And I'm only going to choose one topic. But that's actually one of my first goals. I'm going to be on the training weekend no matter what, even if I'm just back at the accommodation with cold beverages for your return. But my goal is, I'm going to be hiking that in August. Maybe I'll teach everyone mountain pace and hang around at the back.
We'll see. I hope. By then, see what the MRI says, and then go from there. I think it's the best. But Tube Cal is, it's a good target to go for. And Dave, no doubt you'd be on there, mate. You'd be flying up for no time. But right, I mean, the question we talked then, Dave, about today is, how do you physically and mentally recover from a serious injury? It is a big question.
Yeah.
And I know we haven't got all the answers. Because we're going through it, but where should we start with that? I mean, obviously the physical side is obvious, but the mental side is probably the most challenging, right?
It was the most challenging because your physical
Hey,
side will
Matt.
get better. Yeah, your physical side will get better without you really having to do anything. You just, it's an A to B to C. It may be physically painful and it may be tiresome, but it's a certainty. I think the mental side of it, like potentially, you know, you've had some hopes and dreams in play for a long time, and something like this happens, and then they seem to fall by the wayside. That can be very difficult to recover from, and for some, maybe impossible. But I don't believe it is impossible. And I think one also informs the other as well. So I think, treating my physical recovery like a challenge is kind of helping as well. So I have that mindset that now the physical recovery for the knee, to get the knee, functional again and get it stronger than it was before. That's a goal now. That's a goal like reaching base camp was. That was a goal like getting to Kili was. That's a goal like anything I've ever decided to take on. That's a challenge now.
Yeah.
So, the idea now is to, I got to have the MRI. Okay, so that's a little bit of progress towards it. After the MRI, hopefully I won't need an op, but if I do, fine. That's the next one. And then it's what have I got to do after the op, and it's step by step by step. But all the while in my mind, I'm treating it like like something I'm going to achieve. Yeah. And then further on from that, it's like, well, then what am I going to achieve? Well, actually now, Summit in Tupkal, even like, doing a day on the training weekend, or like, going on a bike ride again. These are all things that I'm sort of now striving towards, like more actively than I was before. I perhaps took for granted that I could just catch a plane and climb a mountain, or catch a plane and go here or there. Now I don't even know if I could make it up the steps to the plane. so it's that's what it is. I think the mental side of it is key. And what really brought that home is how I felt the difference between sort of Saturday night and kind of Sunday, Monday. It was almost a complete 180. Like Saturday was all doom and gloom, and I was like, right, it's over. Not that it's over forever, but everything that I had planned this year, post-COVID, everything that we had planned, to do with, the awesome trips and training weekends and seeing people and riding my bike, all of that stuff is now gone. And then I had to reprogram my mind a little bit, and that's where the positivity helps, and be like, well, it's not gone. This is a setback. It's not the end of the road.
Exactly. So, it's just the start of a new road, Dave. You just had to, it's just a different route to the same goal.
Exactly, yeah. And you forget about all the stuff that I've read and all the stuff that I've regurgitated about all the amazing feats that have been completed by people, like that Into the Void. I can't, his name escapes me now, but it'll come back. He's Simon the one.
Lowe, is it?
No, he was Conrad Anker's
friend. Oh yeah. No, sorry, that was Jeff Lowe, wasn't it?
Yeah, it'll come back to me. The EverTrekkers will know. And I was, I had to crawl half a mile down a trail. Nothing compared to what he had to do. And then, all those stories of like grand exploits on mountains and things like that. Athletes that have like completely blew their knee out or injured themselves and then come back to be even better than they were before. So, it makes a difference. Joe Simpson, that's it. Dav knows. Yeah.
Joe Simpson, and it was a guy called Simon Yates, wasn't it? That was it, the guy, the other guy. But mate, nice. No, it's always good to see where you're at, Dave, and obviously, like we don't have all the answers. I know that, essentially once you're able to train, because that was one of the questions, what training do I do to get back into it? And I think, just to be transparent, isn't it, is essentially, I would definitely speak to a specialist, because I think it depends on the injury. Because we do get questions sometimes. Someone has a dodgy knee, someone that might have, an ankle injury, or maybe it's not necessarily a big injury, but they've got maybe a chronic illness or something that affects the way they walk. And I think sometimes it's hard to kind of say, okay, do this, because it's not a one shoe fits all thing, really. It's we do say, okay, definitely speak to experts when it comes to that. Start with, it might be the people that know you best, if that's your GP, or maybe if you've got like a personal trainer or someone that knows you and knows your body like you, and then can build a plan and say, okay, right, let's work on this 12 to 18 week program, starting nice and easy and building up to an actual when you're going to go for it. And don't forget, we've got the guys at the Altitude Center as well, which we like to reach out to. I mean, they do take the scientific approach, but they're also personal trainers as well regarding the fitness side of it, so they do know their stuff with that. Obviously, they're all about altitude, so it's our bag. So don't forget to kind of reach out to those guys, and if you've booked on a trip with us, you can just fill in that form in your members area, and one of those guys can reach out to you. And they're open back up now, so they're based in London and the Midlands. So definitely give them a shout as well if you're kind of working on any sort of training specific for that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think pursue the recovery of your sort of injury like ferociously, and don't accept no for an answer. I mean, I have to be honest, everyone that I've seen so far who's in the medical world that has been absolutely fantastic. But I am open to pursuing like every avenue for recovery. I'm not willing to sort of wait months and months to kind of see how things go. I mean, I've been doing so much research on knee injuries. I feel like since Saturday now, I've learned more about knee injuries than I have in the previous like 38 years of my life. So there are lots of different options out there. I mean, the NHS is fantastic, and really, they really saved my bacon on Saturday when I arrived there. It was great, but you might have to wait a long time for an MRI. There are companies out there that you can go and book an MRI with, and between 300 and 500, I reckon, probably for a private MRI. So definitely not cheap, but definitely worth it if it just feeds you along. And that's kind of my thoughts now. It's like I'm not rushing my recovery. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to recover as quickly as I can. So if a doctor or a consultant tells me to get from point A to point B is going to take 6 weeks, then it's going to take 6 weeks, but if there's a way that I can do it in 4 weeks, then I'll do it in 4 weeks. But
I mean, there's a couple of stories here just reading, and thanks for your comments, guys. And any questions, don't forget to drop them in. And I know we're talking about injuries and things, but if there's anything else, I know Jerome will come to your question now. You've asked about wearing in boots and things like that. But some great little stories here. I know Mick, I know your good lady was ill a while back, and I know you kind of built up the challenges, didn't you? And it was a physical goal. I'm just after her treatments, just reading it. Did Pen and Van, Snowdon, and the zip line in Snowdon. I haven't done that yet. It looks awesome, by the way. And very inspirational. Carry that on. Keep hydrated, Mick. But I know you've all got kind of a lot of your own personal journeys. Thanks for sharing as well, because I always want to. We always like to be transparent and open, and if you can share those stories with us, like we can learn from you guys as well as the other way around. So thanks for sharing those with us, guys. We really value it. But Dave, should we answer some more questions? I do have the one around how long would you break? It's typical you use the word break in this. But how long to break in a new pair of boots? If that's Jerome.
Jerome, how's it going? It depends on the boots. To be honest, it really, really does. So it really does depend on what they're made of as well. But I would say it depends more on the boot, because the Maindel Boutons, obviously, they're a leather boot. They're a leather boot, which history would tell you they need some serious wearing in before you'll take them on a trip. But actually, they wore it like they required no wearing in. I think, Andy, you had the same experience. You put them on and they were comfy from the get-go. There was no blisters, no rubbing, perfectly fine and comfortable. Then I had a pair of the Las Sportivas, that were like a synthetic material. They were Gore-Tex boots, but the synthetic stuff, and they required a remarkable amount. I haven't worn them in. I wore them on the Glencoe Challenge.
Wore them in on the challenge.
I wore because I got a bit complacent because I had a few pairs of boots in a row that didn't really require much wearing in. So I was like, I'll be fine. I'll wear them on the Glencoe Challenge, 26 miles. That'll be a great way to wear them in, and it wore my feet out. So I was completely ruined by the end of it. So honestly, it depends on the boots. My advice is, when people talk about wearing them in, that doesn't necessarily mean hiking in them. When I get a new pair of boots, I'll wear them casually for a week.
Around the house.
Exactly. Going to the office, around the shops, in the house, going out, put them on. And that way you'll get a feel for them before you even take them on the mountains. Maybe do like a mile or two just around the roads and something like that, and you'll soon figure out if they need wearing in or not. So my advice would be to do that. Go on a little walk, not necessarily in the mountains, somewhere close to home,
Yeah.
wear them casually around wherever you go for a week or two, and then hit the mountains with them. If you're really that worried about them, just bring a pair of like lighter ones, or even like trainers in your rucksack, because although I don't recommend using trainers for hiking, I would have threw my La Sportivas away and worn those trainers if I had thought to bring some. They're really good boots, to be fair. They're really, really, really good boots. But as I've figured out, La Sportivas are actually quite narrow as well. So yeah, they don't tend to suit me.
Yeah, nice. Jerome said 5 days should be enough. Yeah, essentially, these days I think a lot of boots don't necessarily need walking in. That being said, we always advise, before going on an Everest Base Camp trek or anything, get out and trial them. I was speaking to Doug, who I believe is on the live. And yeah, he who climbed Kilimanjaro with us has been to Everest Base Camp as well. And he had a new pair of winter boots. And I think the first day or two he tried them, it caused some rubbing, a bit of blisters. Now he's kind of loves them, uses them. But they are proper winter mountaineering boots. They're crampon compatible. So yeah. You make sure you use the right boot for the right scenario as well. And I know that seems a bit nuts because you're kind of thinking, geez, how many boots do I need? If you're Dave, you've probably got a few. But essentially, you want to. There's some all-rounders out there that are good in the mountains when it's dry, mountains where it's wet, and when there's snow. But if you're into your specialist gear, you're going to get those that are harder, that might need more wearing in, especially if you're going above 6,000 meters, because they are. If you're not used to hard boots and rigid boots, because crampon boots and mountaineering boots are rigid, then that does surprise some people. So yeah, wear those around the house for sure. And if you can, if you got the chance, try and use them on the mountains if you can for a little bit. But things like Maynard Boutons, we got like North Face boots that I use, the Hedgehog GTX first 3 or 4 times to base camp. You've got Scarpa, excuse me. Most of them, they don't really need, they're that good. They don't need wearing in with the right insole. So do that. But Jerome, 5 days for you, mate. That's fine. What's the next question, Dave?
Having a quick look. I mean, there's lots of really nice comments coming in, about people's experiences and stuff like that. Stephen White there saying about his stroke and his recovery, so that's amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
Having a quick look.
Sorry, Dave. Always remember there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Unfortunately, some tunnels are longer than others. Wise words, Stephen. I love that.
Exactly. Hayley Lou Brimble, poles, do they help prevent injury or likely to cause them? Have found them helpful for balance going downhill as my ankles give way that easily. Poles won't cause an injury. I mean, if you fall and flay them around, they might cause injury to someone around you, get one in the eye. But no, poles definitely prevent injury. They definitely help look after your knees. I'll probably be a hardcore pole user for a while now. No, so going uphill, what they actually do is you tend to put them out in front of you and you get your arms involved and you sort of sync with your leg motion. So what happens is that your arms are actually using some of their power to propel you up the hill, which takes some of the pressure off the legs. The real key point is going downhill. So you tend to extend them a bit longer, put them out in front of you and use your arms again and the poles to support some of your weight. That way it takes, I'm not sure what it is it 20% off each knee or something like that?
35%. It's quite high. It's it's a hell of a difference over 12 days of walking, say.
Exactly.
Especially if you're struggling with an injury, a past injury, or you have maybe knees that have had they're just grinding. Having support like trekking poles, I think Dave, you're definitely going to find them useful.
100%.
Going to be very valuable.
Yeah, I mean, I use them already, but perhaps it's not everywhere I go. So they're always in my rucksack, no matter what. I tend to use them going downhill more than uphill, because I don't really have too much trouble going uphill. But downhill, my knee, my right knee. I used to consider my knees. I said a left or right, it was good and bad. But now I'm going to have to go back to left and right again because they're both bad. Going downhill, it does take a lot of the pressure off your knees. And will provide you with stability as well. So, it's like, you'll have pretty much, when you're stood still, 4 points of contact with the ground. When you're walking, at least 3 instead of 2. So, it makes a massive difference.
Yeah, nice. Lucy Bagley's on the live as well. Lucy, nice to see you on the live. One of our historic EverTrekkers. Nice to see you. She's asking about the Hoka One. Dave, I know you've I've used them. I know you've used them, Dave.
Yeah,
Yeah, just struggling to find someone that stocks them
I ordered them from the Hoka One website.
or direct.
Yeah, direct. Yeah, so I just went on their website, bought them direct. They get
Yeah.
posted from Amsterdam,
Okay.
so there might be a little bit of a delay now because of the posting things with Brexit.
Yeah.
I know I've had a couple of delays, but other than that, no, they were really good. They arrived within a week, and I got them direct from there. If they're out of stock there, I'd probably be inclined to send them an email or use a store locator or something like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, good old eBay.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
know they are really good boots, and they're always bringing out different things, and they're very colourful. Yeah. If you wear them, Lucy, you're definitely gonna one of the most colourful people on the mountain. But that's fine. We like a bit of colour. We can spot you from afar. But yeah, hopefully you find some. Let us know if you do find anywhere that is a reliable stockist, and we'll we can share it to the rest of the group. That'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Try them direct. I know you mentioned about UK stores. I think when I bought a pair of Hoka One, they were. I found some on Amazon but wasn't really Amazon. It was someone in Europe. I can't remember, but I paid a little bit more for mine. But yeah, it's because they are quite popular. I think supply has gone down a little bit. The demand's increased, so it's always tough. Hopefully, there's some new stock coming in because they're getting ever popular. And I hope you can find some.
Yeah.
If not, there's others out there. There's other, if you want the Maynard Boutons. If you're playing Yeti Bingo, there's another one ticked off.
Yeah.
We do say that on every live. Yeah, but let us know you get on, Luce, and great to see you booked in, mate. I know you're coming with us to Killy.
Awesome. Yeah, you'll love it. I mean, the Hoka Ones are really good as well. I think Rasheen, who went to, I recommended them to her because we did Ben Nevis together, and she used a B2 boot for Ben Nevis that just chewed her feet to smithereens.
Yeah.
And then she wanted something completely the opposite, so I recommended those for her. I think she said they were good. The fit was not 100%, but the cushioning was worth it. They're really popular with fell runners. Stuff like that because you can literally walk over a stone and it just gets absorbed by the sole, which is about this thick. So yeah, they are really good. You do look a bit odd because they are like moon boots.
They do add about that much onto your height. It's quite interesting for me.
But you do feel like you're walking on air. They are amazing. So yeah, check them out. But go direct. I've only ever gone direct because they're if you have to send stuff back, it's always easier to send them back to the maker.
Nice, Dave. Nice. Jerome asked another question a bit earlier. I know someone put a couple of comments, but Yetis, who decides on mandatory helicopter evac? So, yeah, I presume, Jerome, so if someone is at that stage where they need to get out there, it's always the guide, because they're highly trained, very experienced when it comes to high altitude. They'll know whether you need to get out there or not. They'll never, I say force is the wrong word, but, like I've been with someone who, it's a very, very rare occasion you have to get evacuated. But if you do, I remember, we had to have a conversation with someone who didn't want to go down. And it was a challenge one. There's a few tears, because it is hard. You imagine you've gone all that way and it was very difficult. She was having symptoms. Some of them she hadn't told us for days. And it was, it was kind of, it reached that scenario we needed to get her down to the hospital. But as I said to her, life is more important than getting to these places sometimes, and they're not going anywhere. You can come back again, and if you've got to kind of have that gauge, and if you have reached that point, then the guide will make the decision. Because everyone will say no, I want to go on, and we know what it's like we're never, we're all adults. We all talk about things that are happening, how you're feeling. We'll look at your your heart rate, your oxygen levels, there'll be other stuff, how are you eating, how are you keeping hydrated, how's your head, what's your energy levels looking like, guys will look out for things and almost notice things even without telling them, and they'll always come up to you and see how you're feeling. You can maybe go on to Diamox, there's other ways, but the real last resort then, the guide will be getting you out of there, but just to be transparent, it's even though the guide makes the decision, they'll always have conversations with you leading up to it. And it's never just a out of the blue situation. Yeah. It's, there'll be days if you reach that position, you would have been feeling that way for days. And that's why we rarely have it, because the guides will spot it before things happen.
Yeah.
You're going to get headaches. You're going to feel maybe a bit ill. Altitude does these things to you sometimes, and sometimes they can be controlled. It's obviously the when you can't control them, and you've gone over the edge a little bit. That we want to get you out of there. But I suppose the point I'm getting at is that the guys are really experienced. They very rarely let you get to that stage.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it means then they haven't been checking you the couple of days before, which they always do. But obviously sometimes it happens, and you're like, right, okay, right, guys, I've had enough now. I've tried my hardest, but I'm going. I'm turning around, and you know what? That's never want to force people on. There's been a lot of negative media a couple of years ago where there were companies out there, fortunately not our guys, because they know we won't stand for it, but essentially there were people rushing people up the mountains to get evacuated who would then get kickbacks, and luckily that's been like nipped in the bud now across the industry. If people do get evacuated, it's because they need to get out there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was probably 10 years ago at its highest or something like that. But it's and to be honest, it's really rare that you'll get a situation where someone really needs to go down but won't, and then the guide has to make that sort of call. Most people, when they're in a condition where they need to be evacuated, like it's mandatory, they want to go down. You don't feel great. There are a few special exceptions, perhaps, where people are incredibly stubborn, or perhaps that's the wrong word. Incredibly determined might be more flattering. You actually, the reason you have the guide there is not just to show you the way. The way is not very complicated. You can figure that out on your own. You have your guide there to guide you there safely. And you're paying them to look after your best interests when you're perhaps not capable of doing so. So having someone sort of looking over you, checking over you, allowing you to have the freedom to have an adventure, whilst also knowing that they're going to keep you healthy and send you back in the same condition you arrived in. That's what they're there for.
Exactly. Just seeing Michael Gillies. Mike, how you doing? He's just talking about your accident, Dave. You did the same thing skiing in April 2017, and then I do remember. I think we did catch you in EBC a couple of years later. But Mike, I hope you're well. Hope life is treating you well, mate. Nice to see you on the live as well. But right, Dave, any other questions?
Oh, Michael Gillies. So was that on? I think
Tengboche
I was
Hill.
on my way up Tengboche, and they were on their way down Tengboche.
No, we were going down. They were coming up.
It was the other way around, was it?
I think so. Yeah, it was. Yeah. We were on the way back to Namche.
Okay, I remember. Do you know what's getting confusing is because I actually went to base camp twice that year.
Yeah, you did.
And I saw EverTrekkers both times, so I know I saw some people on the way down as well. But I remember. Yeah, well, that's the one thing, amazing that you did that. I heard it's common with skiers and mountain bikers. Anytime there's a risk of torquing the knee too far, which is what happened to me. But I think it's amazing that you still did it, and it goes to show, like, at least for me, having a goal that sort of drives the recovery, is, it's far more satisfying every time you reach a milestone, every time you're able to do something that you weren't after the injury, knowing that you're actually going to be able to achieve something afterwards. I mean, I think you're more likely to shed a tear on the summit, actually, if you've come back from adversity and worked your way back, and you've gone through hell and high water to kind of get to the top, and then when you get there, I imagine it was an immense release. But awesome.
I think and it reminds me of what you said there about when you go through challenges, and I think even the last 12 months for everyone, and who have had trips in, and some people were like, the trip was kind of rescheduled, or like, guys, you can't do it, like a day or two before they went back, especially back in March last year. And I think I know we're talking about injuries today, but just that, and when that gets taken away from you, and then when you eventually do get there, I think what Dave says there has more of an impact when you actually achieve it.
Exactly.
I definitely share those sentiments, Dave. Like, we can't wait to get back. Like you guys, can't wait. Certainly in Nepal in the autumn. We can't wait. And we did have a bit of news actually whilst we're talking about Nepal. We were chatting to Anuj back end, I think it might be midway through last week, and they had some good news in terms of the vaccinations in Nepal. And I totally wanted to share it last week, but obviously I wasn't doing too well last week after my COVID jab. But with basically all the guides and the staff and the ground staff will all be vaccinated by September, which was like really good news for us to hear. Meaning that obviously once things open up in the UK, we're allowed to travel, and as long as it's not on the red list, then we're able to get back, to Nepal, essentially. I mean, obviously the other countries as well, but whilst we're talking about Nepal. So yeah, I just wanted to share that news with you guys, that all our guides, in Nepalese guides, and the staff and the people at the hotels, the people who'll be taking care of you will all be vaccinated by September. So yeah, a bit of good news from there. I thought I'd like to share that.
Awesome. So Lindsay Ann Willets has asked, how wide are Maindel Bhutans? I have wide flipper feet for a lady. Any ladies wear men's boots? That was actually probably going to be my suggestion, which was I know ladies' boots tends to be a bit narrower. But I think if they're too tight, then try the men's boot, because they're almost identical. I'm not aware of many changes other than the width of the boot, really. That kind of makes a difference. So I would try the men's, or there are some other brands out there that do offer sort of wider boots. I think Scarpa are pretty wide, actually. Normally for it tends to be the Italian brand. It tends to be quite narrow, but they're quite wide. I see Shona's mentioned as well. Salawa boots, they're really good. Altberg again. There are wide boots out there, and then the other option is going for something like a non-leather boot, that's going to have a bit more give in it and stuff like that. Personally, I think the Maindels they probably just sit in the middle. They're not narrow, they're not wide. I could probably do with about like a millimeters more width on my Maindels, but it's not enough that it bothers me. And once I'm wearing them, it's fine. But yeah, they're probably just an average fit, I would say, the Maindels.
Yeah, I think there's a few. In an ideal situation, we'd like to get into the store, get down there and try them on. But I know it's quite challenging at the moment with different stores. But if you are able to, like personally, I probably don't do it the recommended way, but I order online and I get them and I try them on. If they don't fit, I send them back, because to keep them indoors, you can do that. But 9 times out of 10, because I'm a size 9 and 9s always fit me, I never really have an issue. Obviously with decent hiking socks as well. But Dave had some good options there. But if you can, get into a store and try them, or order them online. Just don't take them outside, because I think once you use the soles, once you use the grips, they don't send them. You can't send them back. So wear them around the house. And if they do, I know ideally you want to get a good hike on them, but if you can't, and all you can do is around the house, at least maybe go up your stairs and see how they feel. And if they do feel too tight, then send them back and get a different size or a different boot.
Yeah, awesome.
But it's always a challenge, isn't it? Sometimes you're never going to get the perfect boot that fits, but if you can get them that are just right when you're wearing a decent thick hiking sock, because these boots, you're going to have decent thickness of hiking socks when you're out there, then those are the babies that are going to work. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Kath Jones asked, any news on the jackets from Nepal? Guys, we know we've got to get them out. They have arrived, so we have them. It's just been a little bit busy. We off the back of the Kilimanjaro competition. Yeah. And then it was vaccine week last week. So Andy had his, I had mine the following day. Little rough there.
Side effects, but it was all good.
Then,
all fine,
exactly. I mean, well worth it. The example I gave to someone was, like I said, don't let feeling a bit rough put you off getting the vaccine. I mean, how many times have you gone to the pub of a night knowing you're going to be rough the next day? It's not as bad as like a bad hangover. It's just a bit rough. But actually, we were planning on doing it sort of Monday, but my bad. But what I'm going to try and do is, as soon as I can get back to the office with Andy, we'll work it out and get them done and get them out as soon as we can. Yeah,
we've got a batch to do. They have arrived, and we've got the second batch then. As soon as we get to a certain size, I know we've talked about it a little bit before around because it's a sort of charity raising money for the guys over in Nepal. It's we have to have a certain amount to make it worth it, in terms of getting additional money. But if you had ordered a jacket, just say a big thank you as well for your patience, and also for what you did for the guys, because we had some supplies and some money that was divvied out to all the people, all the guides and the staff in Kathmandu who have been struggling. These are the people that haven't got sort of farms to grow their crops and things like that. It's very tough. Yeah. It's been over a year now with no customers, which is unheard of, but it's part of the world it is now. But just want to say another thank you from us guys, and I'll never stop saying thank you. I know you probably get bored of it, but I'll always say thank you because it means a lot to me that you're supporting our guys, and it's good. But do have a little bit of patience. We'll try and get them out as soon as we can regarding these jackets. I know you're excited to receive them, and I can't wait to see the pictures when you get them, because I know we've done a batch before which went down an absolute storm. So thanks guys.
Awesome.
Nice, Dave. Right, a couple more questions then. I know we've covered a lot today. Let's have a look. How you feel? Oh yeah, Jerome, thanks mate. Yeah, feeling good. Just got those. Dave, any other questions that you've spotted, mate? I know, guys, if there's any questions as well, just before we kind of sign off, do throw them our way around injuries, anything around kit. I know we usually sort of last around 50 minutes to an hour, but we're coming up to that now. So any questions, guys, fire them away.
Exactly. Lauren as well, virtually elbow us in the ribs if we've missed anything. I did notice someone asked, I can't remember who it was, do we do medals for Killy? Not yet, but it's probably something we'll look to do in the future. The nature of the way that we build these trips is that the more popular they get, the more we're able to kind of offer for people. Killy's massively popular, but COVID has obviously meant that, we're sort of we've had to hang fire, but we've got this sort of ideal of what our trips look like, and EBC is certainly there, and all of our trips will ultimately reach the same standard and get the same goodies as well.
Nice. It's always I think
Lucy, okay.
No, we're always when it comes to our trips, we're always looking to add value, and even if that's when you book in and it wasn't kind of there, like we've launched the app, which is kind of exciting thing for us. We were working on that for a while, and I hope I know probably about 95% of people now have, up to the end of 2022, have had their access to the app. We'll be moving forward over the following next couple of weeks, with 2023, 24. So just the access will be coming out for that, and same with the medals. We're hoping to do medals for all the trips eventually, but again, these things sort of take time, and as trips get more popular, it's a lot easier for us to do it. But it's always a little bit of a Brucey bonus, but thanks for bearing with us for that, guys. It's been awesome. Dave, actually, one thing we did forget is a nice new trip that we were talking about a little bit earlier. Do you want to go through that?
Valid point. Yeah. So we're always working on these new trips. It's always kind of scary when we talk about a new trip, because I know now 50 people are going to email about do this. We are working on all of them, but Patagonia, which is very exciting. So one of the trips that we've me and Andy have been really super excited about, and we've been working on behind the scenes, and is now ready, is the Patagonia Icefields trek, which is a remarkable trek because it's a slightly different flavor than what we normally do. So normally our trips are focused on the challenge being the high altitude achievement, but actually the altitude in the Patagonia trek is not the extreme part of it. It's the third largest ice fields after the North and South Poles. So really the only way to get a visual is think of sort of the North and South Pole, that sort of ice shelf, vast openness. And it's going to be a type of trip where you start in Patagonia, you go to some glacier. There's a little moment where you cross into Chile as well. But the real exciting part is is sort of the expedition style trip on the ice fields. So that means that you'll be carrying your own kit and man-hauling a section of the group's kit as well. So everyone's going to be man-hauling their kit. Everyone's going to be responsible for chipping in with the camp building and collapsing. It's really going to give a good flavor of what it perhaps is like to do an expedition like that. So that's going to be awesome. I mean, there's so many more amazing things about this trip as well, but that as a snapshot as well.
It is different in kind of a way, because it's not extreme altitude, but it's extreme in terms of where you're at. The conditions, the weather. In terms of when we're doing these, I think we go from sort of November due to the end of January is kind of I say peak season, but it's where they basically, there's a lot of snow bridges, so you can cross over the glaciers, which is quite cool. Then as you kind of get closer, so you get sort of February and March. Those snow bridges tend to go away, but it's so it's the warmest part, but you've got to obviously get around those glaciers. It's pretty epic, and we wanted to do this one for a while. Be working with our team over in South America, getting this one. And Diane, whoa. Diana was booked onto every single one of our new trips, but yeah, definitely have a look at the guide, guys. If it's for you, it is a little bit different. It is hard. It is challenging. We always say that. I mean, when I was thinking about sort of what experience you need, what sort of level of fitness, we hate to say no to everyone, but what I would say is, if you've been on a trip or you're into multi-day trekking, maybe you've done a trip with us already, or you'll do a trip before you get to this. Highly, highly valuable, because you're going to be tested and you will be challenged and it will be difficult weather. But that's what we're here. If you want to go to Disneyland, you go to Disneyland.
Shauna's downloaded the guide already. I just had a notification saying Shauna Beard's downloaded the Patagonia guide. So yeah,
nice.
Just a second handy stuff. Yeah, it is like slightly different, So in terms of the physicality of the trip, being able to transport the gear and stuff like that, I think having some prior experience is going to be valuable. But this is one of those that I'm super excited about. Exploring more of South America. I mean. Well, we were Machu Picchu, Chimborazo, and Cotopaxi, Aconcagua, Patagonia.
We've got some cool trips there now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Just watching Katie on there as well. Nice. Have a little look, guys. Let us know what you think. I mean, this is kind of, we announced it on here, just a little bit of a soft launch, but we'll be sort of pushing it out there, over the coming weeks and months. Again, it's really exciting. It's one of many. I mean, we got a couple more to share with you real soon, and I know we've kind of been waiting for so long to launch some of these trips. I mean, Elbrus, just to let you know, is like really close right now, but we don't want to forget about our bread and butter, which is altitude, and which is also Nepal. And so we got another brand new trip in Nepal coming soon. Which is fantastic. And those two are kind of the next two. And then after those two is something that your dad was telling me he wants to do, Dave. And I don't want to give too much away, but it's not in Nepal, and it's close to Nepal. And it's very high. And I'm quite excited about that one. But have a look, guys. Download the guide, have a little look. If it's for you, drop us an email, info@evertrek.co.uk, or drop us via the messenger on the website, or a message here on Facebook. And we'd love to sort of discuss that with you. Other than that, guys, anything else, Dave, before we kind of finish up?
Only just once again, just to say thank you to everyone that's messaged. I am going to spend time trying to get back to everyone that's emailed me, everyone that's messaged on Facebook and stuff like that. I said to Andy, I'll do it this afternoon. Then when I looked, I was like, wow, there's 200 people. But I am going to try and get back to everyone. But just so everyone knows, it really has meant a lot. It really did change my mindset, and it's part of what informed this live, about, if you are injured or you're recovering from, any type of injury, illness that's set you back, having a goal in mind has really helped me. Having the support of the EverTrek community has really helped me. And I know I'm only right at the beginning, so I know I'm going to be relying on you guys far more than I am those crutches, I tell you. So again, thank you so much.
Yeah, cheers, guys. All right, well, we'll leave you all there and have a wonderful week. I know we've got some good weather in the UK, definitely in Australia, I'm sure, Leah. Great to see you all as always, and we will catch you next Tuesday.
Excellent. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Look after those knees.